What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to a Therapeutic Edge. It is budget knife time. And again, I have a Sitivien on the table. You know, I love these things. And I know I'm never going to love them as much as Bees Blades. Looking at you, Bees. But I love them just the same because they keep producing knives that are just very good. Now, this one is a little weird. We'll go with weird. Recently, I had the ST134 on the channel, and I love this sort of bruiser of a knife. This one is the 134, and it's almost going backwards a little bit for them, and let me explain. They used to make really bizarre. Hang on, I've got one right here. Okay, hold on. Pause. Sorry about that, I got it. They used to make stuff like this, and they still do. I mean, you can get these, but this is kind of where they started. D2, weird milling on the G10, kind of chunky in hand, kind of funky blade shapes. In the beginning of Sitivien's run, I think this is the ST105 or 109, hell, I don't know. They were sort of fearless about doing bizarre stuff. Recently, they have just been making good stuff, like this. I mean, this is ridiculously excellent. So the ST134 is a little of both, right? It's not just a straight bruiser user like this one, and it's not quite as wonky as this one, but it does have some weirdnesses that I like, but they're a little weird just the same. By way of example, this bizarre milling on the G10 scales. I have no idea what that's all about. It's nice that it matches on both sides, and it does give some texture and some grip, but it does look like somebody spilled water on it. Like, I don't know. Way to go, guys. The deployment for this particular knife, it has a flipper that, by the way, works beautifully. And then it has this massive thumb disc. Now, I get this. It looks weird, but I get it. It is the perfect landing spot for your thumb. And given the high flat grind on this blade and all this belly, this thing is absolutely set up to work this way, right? It is just, and it is really thin behind the edge for one of these. So I get the decisions, but it is a little weird looking. And okay, I like that. Way to go, Sitivien. Lean back into your sort of bizarre knife heritage. I want to show you that action again. This thing will drift shut. It doesn't slam shut on your fingers. The detent on the ST134 here is fantastic. This is a $30 knife, and I have $500 knives that don't close that well. It's controllable, it's smooth. There's no double clutch, again, with a nod to Metal Complex. The thumb disc thing, oops. That's the time to screw that up. Works just fine. These guys make a hell of a knife, and they do it for 30 bucks. Now, recently, I did review the ST199, which is their $150 titanium and S35 VN knife. And that knife, I can't recommend it. I can't. I did in my video, and somewhere along the way, the detent just completely disappeared. I have no idea what happened. My guess is that the detent ball sank farther into the lock bar, and now you can just shake it open. There is no detent on the close at all. I have never had that problem with one of their budget knives. So, going forward, until they do much better on their higher end stuff, when I want to review a fun and budget knife, now oh, by the way, you guys will see this coming down the road later. This is the Elite Tactical Conqueror. I have a bunch of these things that Lefty sent me to review, and they're ridiculous and fun, and this one's only 40 bucks. So anyway, we'll get to those later. It doesn't matter how many weird, expensive knives I have got a real thing for sort of budget, fun knives. which is why I love Sitivien and why I'm enjoying the hell out of these Elite Tactical. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So let's take a look at the ST134 and talk about what you get. You get 3.5 inches of cutting on a little over 3.5 inches of D2 steel. The grip area from behind that swell is 4 full inches. This is a really nice big knife. It is coming in at 8 inches and 1/8 overall, which is, it's nice. Nice and big, very comfortable in hand. Like all Sitiviens, it is a little blocky, but I have big hands, so that works out. When Women Carry Knives reviews this, I guess we'll find out what she thinks. Closed length on the ST135 is coming in at, because of this weird shape, is coming in at 1, 2, 3, 4, a little over 4.5 inches. The closed profile really isn't that bad. It does have a really noticeable flipper on this end, but everything is chamfered. I mean, again, I have really expensive knives that don't do this same level of attention to detail, so I'm not going to complain. But because of this large deployment disc, in the closed, you're looking at almost 1.5 inches this way, right? And there is, again, a flipper down here to bang into stuff in your pocket. Unfortunately, these are not countersunk screws, so even though this has a nice stamped steel clip, it does hang up a little bit on thicker jeans, and it is not lefty friendly. They don't really do that. I guess it's a cost-saving measure, but I wish they would. I mean, something like 11% of the population is left-handed, and that seems like an awfully large number of people not to sell knives to. But, you know, maybe they'd cost $40 if they did that. Who knows? It's got a lanyard pin in the back, which is, if you're going to do a lanyard, and you're not going to, you know, kind of do it like this up in the back corner and out of the way, this is the way to do it, because then it doesn't interfere with anything else on the knife. And I think that's really great. I will mention again that it has the weirdest milling on the G10 I've seen in a long time. I don't know what that is supposed to represent, but it does give it grip. It absolutely does. So let's do some size comparisons just for giggles. Let's put that there. There. Here it is against a full-size Griptilian. This, of course, is the sheep's foot edition, and these are aftermarket scales, but hey, whatever. It's just a little bit longer than a full-size grip, but it has a lot more cutting edge, which is very cool. Here it is against a PM2. It is going to be a little shorter than the PM2, but again, see what I did there? It's been a long day. Here it is against a PM2. That was hilarious. I pulled the wrong knife off the table. Women Carry Knives is over on the couch looking at me like I've lost my mind. And maybe I have. Anyway, yeah. As you can thanks. Yeah, as you can see, the PM2 here is a little bit bigger, at least longer, but of course, Paraseries is, you know, paramilitaries come with a notoriously short blade, so that's the way that goes. Here it is against the Benchmade Redoubt, which is still sitting on my table. These knives are very similar in length. This is D2. This is CPM D2. This is $30. This is $162. Okay, moving on. Here it is against Women Carry Knives Fancy Bug Out. And I'm going to move this down a little bit. And I'm also, yeah, here it is against the Hogue Deca, which is another small knife that I like quite a bit. So anyway, as you can see, the ST134 is a full-size knife, and that's okay. I just want to take a minute and reiterate that one of the things that Sitivien does that's just ridiculous is the action on these knives. For $30, you know, look, back even not 4, 5, 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago now, for 30 or 40 bucks, you were getting yourself a Kershaw. They were usually assisted, or a CRKT. They were usually assisted. And because of that, their action was just non-existent. Like, they'd snap open, of course, because they were assisted, but closing them was a whole nother animal. these are really inexpensive knives with the kind of action that what's the nicest knife I have on the table? Stuff like the Devo. You know, I mean, it's there too, but this is near $300. And, you know, of course, the Valor here, $200. I love that sound. I really love this knife. Anyway, the fact that you can get that level of smooth for $30 is just ridiculous. Now, I've had people say, oh, they're not going to last that long. Yeah, for $30, you can buy 10 of these for the price of this. I like this better, of course. I like high-end stuff, but you could keep one of these around for a really long time, is my point. All right, let's get some basic blade specs out of the way. Now, they used to use really thick slices of D2. I feel like they've thinned that out a little bit, but let's find out. All right, way back here at the thickest point, we're talking about almost 3.5 millimeters. Am I tripping? Yeah, I am. All right, they're consistent. It just, oh, I know what it is. It's chamfered all along the edge. So the edges sort of roll in towards the knife. It doesn't look as thick, but it is. Nice. Okay. So what did we come in at? Yeah, 3.4 millimeters, which is really nice. The handle itself through the middle is 14.5, which is going to be just over a 1/2 inch, which is, most of their knives are relatively thick this way. Makes for a good grip, like I say, for somebody with hands my size. Let's weigh it. I don't expect it to be light. It is steel liners on a liner lock. They are, again, really nicely chamfered, so there's no sharp edges or anything. And there is some milling on the inside, but I still don't think that this 8.25 inch knife is going to be a lightweight. I suppose it would help if I turned on the scale. Okay. Yeah, almost 5 ounces. That's relatively hefty. Let's see. By way of example, well, a Mannix is going to be more than that. 4.8. I couldn't have done that better if I tried. So the Mannix 2, if you've ever held one, weighs exactly the same as the ST134. Okay. Learn something new every day. It is a bit of a chunker. I mean, this is a big knife, right? So, yeah. Okay. And that is where we're going to wrap it up. It's been a long day. I am tired. I'm glad I got a chance to take a look at this for you guys tonight. It's been fun to carry and fun to use. Again, I have a myriad of kind of stupid expensive knives, but when I'm out running around and doing stuff where I don't really want to pay attention. Thanks, dog. I love my Sitiviens, and I think you might too. Thanks, Lola. On that note, we're going to wrap it up before the dog goes crazy. Thanks so much for watching tonight, guys. This is the ST134. It is an excellent budget knife from the folks at Sitivien. I'll post a link in the description. Feel free to check it out, and have a great rest of your night, day, whatever it is. Take care.